What's up, guys? Welcome back to the ranch. We are 6 weeks after you saw me plant my buckwheat, and let's take a look at it. Well, I think it's safe to say that this has failed. But what did I do wrong? I don't think I did anything wrong, because there is buckwheat in here. It's all eaten. I have trail cameras running through here, and it is a deer festival when I'm not here. This buckwheat got rain, the soil is right, everything was right. The problem is there is no agriculture fields around here. There is no other food source here but big woods timber. And I dropped in buckwheat on a 0.3 acre food plot, and these doe and deer just came through here and hammered the food plot. I love that phrase. We just hammered that food plot. All right, so I got nothing. I was supposed to be here now. It's August 7th. I'm supposed to be here standing in buckwheat like this tall, waist high, and I'm supposed to be smashing this down with the cultipacker you saw me build. Really excited about that cultipacker, but there's nothing to cultipack. There's nothing to smash down. This is a fail, but not a failure, a learning experience. And this is what the process and doing this and the enthusiasm I have with this that I am psyched about. This is what's gonna make me a better land manager. And I am by no means a professional, and I say that all the time. I am just a super enthusiast. So I am taking this failure, but not really as a failure. It grew. It did what it was gonna do. It's planted in good distances. It just was eaten to the ground. But what can I do now? What is my next step? We're here at the end of August. The season's coming. I obviously can't grow buckwheat now for 6 weeks to crush it. So what am I gonna do? Well, as you can see, this is weed controlled. The soil's open. The soil pH is right. So I'm just gonna come around and I'm gonna seed right into this. It's the right time. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to still plant a fall food plot. Yes, it's still no-till, but there's no smashing over of the buckwheat on top of my seed. But I still got a lot of nice rye thatch here that when it gets wet from the natural rain will hold some moisture and work that seed to the dirt, and then we'll take it from there. All right, guys, let's get going with this seed. All right, ranchers, before we get to that seeding, I wanted to take you in on a closer look and a dive in and see what happened here. So you could see there's buckwheat. It's nice and spaced. You could even see some of the lime that I threw in here to help with the soil pH still dissolving, doing its thing. But you can also see that every one of these buckwheat is just eaten. The deer were having a field day in here. I gave them something that's not even that palatable to them, but because it's green and great, they just ate it like crazy, and they ate it to the ground. And I wanted to show you that this didn't grow, and it's a fail in that respect, but it's not a failure completely because it did do what it was supposed to do. It just didn't take off enough because my food plot is too small, my deer density is too high, and there's no other food source for the deer. So this was just an amazing salad bar for them to just eat and kill. So now let's get to seeding the fall food plot in here. All right, ranchers, for the first half of this food plot, I'm gonna be putting Northwood Seed Sweet Feast Brassica Blend. Now, this bag right here is enough for a half an acre in itself, and my food plot is just 0.3 of an acre, so I'm gonna use half of this bag. And I could have just did the whole thing in Brassica, but I'm a little weary about Brassica. We just had the buckwheat not do well, And brassica is super palatable and super attractive to deer. So I imagine this isn't going to grow that great in the same settings. But we're going to do this on half of the food plot. This is what some other brand managers recommend. I'm sure you can figure out who I'm talking about. And half of this is going to be in the brassica. I'm going to do this in the lower half that gets the most amount of sun, where the soil is the levelest in my food plot, that has a little bit of a pitch and slope to it. This way these seeds sit and grow. I imagine, like I said, it's going to be eaten, but that's okay, because I'm going to come back in and rye again in September the way I did last year to start the whole process over again. All right, Sweet Feast Brassica Blend going in. The tools of the trade, the good old Earthway seeder. I just walk back and forth and do a quick zigzag pattern over what I walk over. The Sweet Feast is in. Now we're moving on to the second part here with the Northwoods Fall Foliage Blend. This is Oats Winter Rye, Winter Wheat, Forage Peas, and we're going to be putting this in this big heavy bag here. It's 25 pounds, and again, going to do about half of this bag on half of this plot and take it from there. Be coming back again on over across the whole top of this with rye in a few weeks in that September, early September range. All right, here we go. This seed's going in. Now I do the same thing again with this seed in the same back and forth and zigzag pattern. All right, ranchers, so the seed is on the ground, and I wanted to come in and show you underneath my thatch. If we peel some of this back, you can see I got some seed in here, seed in here, seed, and it is all on the ground. Cover back up. So now we just have to get some rain to really push all this in and let that fall food plot start growing. As a last step, I take some stakes and some chicken wire and make a utilization cage. These utilization cages are a great way to give yourself a control environment to see how your food plot is growing without the deer browsing it to the ground. All right, ranchers, thanks for sticking in with me on this adventure for putting in the fall food plot. I'll be back in a few weeks to see how this is growing and to put rye over the top of this. I know the rye is going to grow, and I know I'll end up where I was last year with a nice field full of rye that the deer are going to love in the springtime, because that rye comes right back up. So even if this brassica section doesn't grow, I have plans for half of this food plot. It's going to be covered in rye. So we'll be set anyway. All right, guys, thanks for watching.